Welcome back to a rainy day out here on the porch, which I suppose is somewhat fitting because we have some depressing news for you today. It's not all bad, though. We will get to that here in just a little bit, but it is something that we should be watching, we should be aware of within the Second Amendment community and folks who care about civil rights. So what happened, basically a normal spending bill went through the House and went over to the Senate for their markups and changes that the Senate typically does when a bill advances. And Senator Chris Murphy, who is definitely top 10 worst senator right now in America, one of the worst, one of the least intelligent, which is saying something when it comes to the Second Amendment. He's made some outrageous statements in the past that I share on social media often. If you guys aren't following my social media, definitely recommend it, particularly the non-meta ones. But what he did in this particular bill was he put an amendment in to change the NFA tax, the National Firearms Act tax, to $4,709. So per item. So let me back up on that. For those who don't know, recently in the quote-unquote big beautiful bill, the NFA tax on suppressors, short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and things like that was reduced from $200 to $0. So the tax went away. However, the registration and the NFA process with the enhanced background checks, fingerprints, notifying your chief law enforcement officer, whatever, all that nonsense was still in there and is still in there when that goes into effect in January. Now, the reason the number is $4,709 is because that is the inflation-adjusted rate of $200 in today's dollars. So that's what he's trying to do, is make the stamp equivalent to what it would have been in 1934 when the Gun Control Act was passed, or not the Gun Control, when the NFA was passed, rather, in 1934. So what does it actually say? Well, I'm just going to read a short snippet of it because basically you can get all of it from looking at it here on your screen, but it just changes the rate. So it says, A, rate, there shall be levied, collected, and paid on firearms transferred a tax at the rate of $4,709 for each firearm transferred. And it goes into the makings tax and all of those sorts of things and how it applies to NFA items. So do I think this is going to actually become law? I don't. However, as I mentioned in my video on what I think I called it What Happens Next that I made last month, this was something I predicted would happen, and I definitely think is going to continue to happen. A reason for that is, as I stated previously, this could happen anytime. Just because the tax was removed to $0 doesn't mean that now all of a sudden Congress can change the NFA tax. They could have always changed the NFA tax. However, the NFA just wasn't in the news, if you will. It wasn't on their minds. So they just didn't think about it. They kind of just left it alone. But with it going down to zero, now it's on their minds. And now they want to increase the taxes on it. So that just underscores the point I made over the past few months when the big beautiful bill was going through, that we need to absolutely get these items off the NFA, because if not, these things can happen as long as they are on the NFA. So do I think this will happen? No. Do I think in the future, if there is different administrations in place, that this will happen? Probably, which is why we absolutely need to get these items off the NFA while we still can. Again, we have basically until the midterms. There's going to be other bills that are going to go through Congress that can get these things removed. They need to go back in there and have these items removed from the NFA altogether and reinstate some of the civil rights that Americans should have that have been taken from us by a tyrannical government. It's very simple. Just because you have a rifle with a barrel that is 14 inches instead of 16 inches doesn't mean you should be committing a felony that is going to result in 10 years in prison and a fine of over $250,000. That is crazy and antithetical in every way possible to the United States Constitution and the Second Amendment and what this nation is supposed to be. Anyway, I will get off my soapbox. That is the news. That is the proposed amendment that Democrats are trying to put through. And again, bottom line, if we don't get these items removed from the NFA while we still can, this is going to be the future of what they're going to do for NFA items, and they likely will do it for regular firearms as well. I absolutely can see that happening, or at least them trying to make that happen in the future if these evil people are allowed into office. So that is it. That is the update. Again, for those of you guys who follow me on social media, you guys have already seen this. But definitely, if you're not following me on all the different socials, preferably non-meta, I definitely recommend you do so. Additionally, if you like this type of video and gun news that is breaking, this just broke last night, these breaking gun news, make sure you are subscribed both on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the notification bell, all of those sorts of things. If you've done that and you're still not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, you can get around the algorithm by signing up for my email at the website here on your screen. This will get you put on 2 different emails. One of them goes out once a month and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out, so that way there is no big tech giant centering your eyes from my content through an algorithm. It also gets put on the Daily Deals email. That goes out pretty much every day, and it typically has 8 to 10 of the best deals that we find around the internet on the things that we review around here, like guns, ammunition, optics, lights, lasers, etc. If the item, whatever it is in the email on a given day, it's the cheapest I know of for that item. So that way, hopefully it saves you guys some time and some money because I've already done the price comparisons for you. And if it's in there, again, it's a good deal. It also has a good meme that a lot of people like. Generally speaking, 2A related meme, almost always. If you want to sign up just for the meme, you can do that as well. Lastly, we do have an SMS service that you guys can sign up for if you don't want to get emails. That is an option. This goes out at most once a day, and it typically has one of 2 things in there: either a new video that has gone up that I want to get in front of your eyes, again, getting around the algorithmic censorship, or a really smoking deal. The one I sent out this morning is wild. You guys have been going crazy over that, which is good. And it's probably going to sell out shortly, which is typically why they're in the text message. So if you guys want to sign up for that, you can do that here, or you can text the number to the number on your screen. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you share this with anybody who is interested so they are aware of what's going on. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.